All right, everyone. Today's video is brand comparisons. I did this study last year, and we're going to go for year 2, even though this is probably skewed just a little bit because of the turkey damage, but we'll go with it anyway. Last year, the top browse soybean was the Real World plant, which is these shorter plants right here. This stuff here in the middle is Big Fellow, and down here is Large Lad. This year, there is a total change in what's happening. Last year, I burned this section of ground here. I put, I don't know, about up to 80 pounds, maybe 85 pounds of mineral broadcasted into this soil. The fall blend, which had multiple varieties, 6 is the magic number, and I had well more than 6 varieties in here. I think I had a total of 12 varieties growing here at once. So how did that change the results? Well, I'm telling you right now, this Eagle seed is getting absolutely hammered compared to what last year's version was. And I am willing to bet that it's actually outdoing the Real World soybean this year. That is crazy to think about it, but what happens when you do all these things with minerals, burning, and even fertilizer when you're short, when you follow the soil testing rules, the taste, what I call your groceries, deer want to shop. So your groceries have to be better than everybody else's. Well, I am doing far better than last year because this was the primary plant that they browsed on last year and left pretty much the other 2 alone. There might have been 10% of the Eagle seed that was even touched at the most last year from browsing. This totally got destroyed and wouldn't get more than a foot tall, and it's already at that stage now, and several plants are taller than that because there is less browse pressure on it compared to last year. So I find that extremely interesting. Big Fellow kind of gets a pass here. You can see how the turkeys cause so much damage. There is extremely small amounts of Big Fellow, and it's not really any different to me than the Large Lad, except for maybe in the fall time it stays greener just a touch longer than the other brands. That's about it. So I think this is a remarkable test. Whenever you want to do studies or tests on your own like this, don't let one year's worth of testing convince you. You need to do this for multiple years to really figure out what's going on. And I'll show you the sheer amount of browse in the Large Lad this year. So this section was actually destroyed last night. I was sitting over there at the shooting table watching her eat away over here, and some of the younger bucks come out here too, and they were all in this strip. I watched them go all the way over here to the end, turn and come up, and then they got into some of that up there. Then they went down and started pigging out on the new stuff down there in the plowed area where the corn is. So if I'm walking through here to show you the browse, this is insanely higher compared to last year's results. And this is my poor section of the food plot, which is smoking this down here, but I will admit turkeys did more damage down here just because of the sheer volume of plants that they destroyed. So it really stunted the growth of the soybean here because it was getting eat on like crazy. But now I think it's starting to come out. Spray will be applied today, and that'll brown out and go away. So back on the browse, just sheer volume here. And these are Monster Leaf soybeans compared to the other brand that I have put out. All this was done last night. I mean, lots of incredible browse pressure. For some reason, they skipped out on this. But well, they hit it a little bit there. I take it back. They did hit that this time. So there is a remarkable increase in eagle seed browsing now because my soil is in much better shape than in previous years. Matter of fact, this is probably the best that this particular ground has been in 50 to 60 years. It's just been, you know, when I was growing up, it was just always known as the ground that wouldn't grow nothing. The cows wouldn't spend much time in here at all. They just hang out at the woods for shade, and that'd be about it. Not much growth. Maybe every now and then you'll get a 3-foot tall growth, but most of the time it was just really, really short. But I am thoroughly pleased with my efforts. I know these turkeys are making this look really bad. It should look like what this section here should. This should be a nice, beautiful carpet of soybean for the deer to work with. But my experience, and for those of you that's been here multiple years, this is a monstrous improvement compared to last year when I practically gave up and only planted soybean in areas where grass wasn't even growing. It come up and it got, in most cases, it didn't get taller than this plant, which is about 1 foot, and the pod production was extremely poor. Even though it did make them, they were twice as small as what my jungle down there last year looked like. So this year I've got monster leaves coming out. I've got rapid growth rates in here. This is easily on pace for 7 feet tall, unless there is a ridiculous amount of browse pressure that shows up. Now I will say this though, not to bash any brand. I try to keep this real because I don't have sponsors. I don't want sponsors. I just do this on my own time. But I will say I'm a little bit happier this time around with the Generation 2. The growth up here is doing already better than what I had last year. I still do not like these small leaves because I need mass volume. I want deer taking big bites. That means more weight. And just in case you're wondering, if a deer does take a soybean leaf off, how much of that is actually digested? Studies show that approximately 64 to 65% of that entire leaf will go into the deer's body. The rest of it is kicked out. So that gives you an idea. If they're eating if they ate every bit of this, 65% of everything you see here would be digestible. Maybe some of these other brands might be able to get it a little better than that. I don't know, but I'm doing what they say off the studies. So the Generation 2 soybean here, definitely doing better. I will give it that. It is green like it was last year. It's doing really well there. New leaves are already bigger than this one, so that's a good sign. I just want to see how large these leaves can really get. The only thing I don't like, it's already making pods, attempting to make pods. These made them early last year, and it's probably going to do it again this year. I would prefer to have pods on the way the Eagle Seed's doing it. That's just my opinion. You can go with whatever you want. Any of these brands will grow you a big deer. Just keep that in mind. All right, everyone, you all have a nice day.